The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that...
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection to Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
You've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population. This place absolutely outshines it.
It's Thursday, the 26th day of February 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Jamal Hartman here, Taj Dunville, Ottbridge, and Teo Dill will give us a news break in a bit. How's everyone doing? It's Thursday, it's Friday Junior, as some may call it. Taj, you had a good week?
Yeah, I had a good week. Happy to be on the show 2 days in a row. It's my first time doing that. So
yeah. That's why I put you on. I put him on the spot yesterday, folks. You don't remember? So, not because if you had said no, you all would have got on him and said, "No, you have to come back." So it's good to have you 2 days in a row. Honestly, your contribution. I try not to do it all the time because I don't want to interrupt people, and I take compliments very I'm grateful for them, but you all will love me today and literally hate me tomorrow based on what I say. But one of Taj's biggest fans, two of them hit me up yesterday. Oh, I just love that young man. I'm just like, all right, I'll let him know. No, seriously, it's great having you available to do this on a regular basis with us. We got James Burgess saying, good morning to you and the Daily Hour team. Show it is a cold and chilly Thursday. You feel cold? Maybe I'm different. I went outside this morning. I was like, about time we got some better weather. But what's the temp today? Let me see. I can't wait to tell you. It's 64. So I guess it's cold, yeah. Claire Warner says, good morning, Bermuda. Enjoyed your show yesterday. Well, Claire, good morning to you. And we hope that you enjoyed today's conversation as well. Yeah. We really do. All right, folks. Well, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Erin Crichlow from Bermuda is Love. We're going to be discussing how the organization has evolved and their key focuses right now on improving Bermuda with love. The Daily Play is a name that place. Name that place. Yeah, folks. We're taking it back to the motherland. That's a hint. All right. Tosh he's got this one. Okay. So don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. I'm just going to put the questions out there. Folks, audience, what are your thoughts on Old Shore's move to use one pharmacy for specific drugs? What are your thoughts on Old Shore's move to use one pharmacy for specific drugs? Do you think this should be allowed? Yes or no? Well, what are we talking about? The other day, kind of mentioned it, but a new policy announced by one of our major health insurers this week has sparked quite a reaction from doctors, independent pharmacists, and patients alike. The insurer, All Shores Limited, which basically is BF&M and August, has struck a deal with a single pharmacy provider, being Phoenix Stores, to be the designated place where clients must fill a range of high-cost prescription medications going forward. The list isn't small. It includes some of the most talked about medications of our time. GLP-1 weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, which are widely used beyond diabetes management. ADHD medications like Adderall, specialized treatments for conditions such as cystic fibrosis and Pizarro. I don't know how to pronounce some of this stuff, but you get what I mean. The stated goal of this change, which takes effect in early March, we must, is it to control rising medication costs, particularly as high cost drugs have been accounting for a disproportionate share of insurers' expenses. You know, it's got some controversy in it. And here's where the controversy lies. Independent pharmacies, the ones right here in your community, your Bermuda, are saying that this policy could hurt patients and their businesses. Some doctors have also raised concerns, arguing the change could limit patient choice, complicate access to needed medicines, and increase administrative burdens on healthcare providers. The Health Council, Bermuda Health Council, has stepped in and says it will engage with the insurer and stakeholders to understand the full impact and explore how to balance affordability, access, competition, and innovation in a way that works for Bermuda's healthcare system. This touches on a broader debate we've had before. How do we keep healthcare sustainable without undermining patient autonomy or the viability of the pharmacies? And is it cost containment worth the trade-offs, right? Is cost containment worth the trade-offs when it could affect people's access to life-changing medications? Here's the thing. You all know, as an ex-Bernieite, right? I just don't think that healthcare should be a business. I don't think health should be a business. I don't, personally. But in order to fix that, we have individual things that we need to do, like eat better, exercise, take care of ourselves. That said, one of the things, there's two things I've told you about the United States that I feel for American citizens. Tax system, how it benefits few, and healthcare. You can have the best health insurance, but if you don't have a doctor within network, a doctor you really like, you're on your own. I feel like this is where this is heading. And for a small community like Bermuda, I think that is dangerous. We talk about choice. We talk about democracy. In a democracy, even though Bermuda has a fake one, choice is the most important thing that you can have. We may not like the options before us politically, for instance. We may not like them, but we still have a choice in choosing. So the question of the morning, audience, what are your thoughts on All Shore's move to use one pharmacy for specific drugs? And do you think this should be allowed? Taj, something tells me you have a lot to say on this.
I certainly do. The first thing I want to say is that I'm going to take it to the political realm, which is people always say that they want unchecked capitalism, less regulation. In fact, this was a core platform initiative of the FDN during the last several elections, less government regulation. Well, this is what it looks like in practice when there's no government regulation and oversight. Firstly, All Shores, well, August back then, should not have even been allowed to purchase 2 doctors' offices. Remember, All Shores also earns 2 healthcare providers. Now they have this exclusive deal with the Phoenix Pharmacy. It looks like monopolization to me. And what it's going to cause is a further terrification of our healthcare system, where you have people that are insured by All Shores getting cheaper access to drugs and medication, and those who are not insured by All Shores having to pay higher costs, one, because they're not insured, but because the small independent pharmacies that are not a part of Phoenix are undoubtedly going to have to raise their costs on drugs to be able to fill that gap in demand that's being taken away from this deal. So it's going to have island-wide effects that are going to be damaging both for pharmacists, small businesses, but also for the everyday person who's not insured by All Shores. Particularly, I'm worried about those that have the government insurance, GHEI.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the FDN, because yes, that was that's their language, right? As a business owner, I kind of do understand a bit about less regulation. And I'm going to speak in a biased form. I do believe that there should be some sort of regulation in almost everything. There have to be checks and balances, is my point. And without checks and balances, you kind of get this. And I completely understand freedom to do business if that business is benefiting people. But as Dr. Anthony Richardson says, do you think this should be allowed? He says, no, it's purely profit driven and no focus on the customer. People tend to prefer dealing with one pharmacy, one that knows healthcare history and medication history. There is a risk to health presented by this deal. Medications prescribed conflicting with existing medications. And this was my first thought. And Manuela says, this may not seem fair to those in Somerset and St. George. Now, as far as I know, the pharmacy does deliver, right? And that would be a response. But I don't know, some of you may have done our survey. We do an annual survey for the Daily Hour audience. And for those who know, we actually have something in there where we ask, if this is not your favorite store or place like our sponsor, what is the reason? And the majority of you said regarding, I'm just going to use People's Pharmacy, location, convenience. From that, we then go back to the client and the client says, well, we deliver. And now it's their job to speak to the audience about that. No, there were people we asked, we said, well, what pharmacy do you use since location's a big thing? Oh, well, I live in St. George's, I use Robertson's. I live in Southampton, Somerset, I use Caesars, right? I hadn't thought about that. So I just think that when all decisions are made with profit in mind, I tell people and I'll say this very clearly in the camera. Whatever I do in business is people first. That's literally, because without people, and we continue to talk about AI eliminating jobs. I'll tell you what, if Amazon continues the way they're going, AI and eliminating jobs, there's going to be nobody with money to purchase their goods to keep them in business. My point in saying that is there has to be a balance.
Yes.
There has to be. So audience question of the morning, and I'm glad that so many people are coming out. And look, at the end of the day, I just want what's best for majority of the people in the community. And the majority, hopefully that equates to all. But what are your thoughts on all shores move to use one pharmacy for specific drugs? Do you think this should be allowed? Let's go back to the audience, Taj. We've got Charles H. Jeffs II. He says, is it cost containment? Without competition, we don't know if we're getting the best deal. I said the same thing about the airport deal. That's a good point.
That's the thing. Capitalism relies on free market competition. How can you tell people that they don't have a choice of where to spend their money and then still claim to be in a capitalist regime and a capitalist organization if you're telling people where they can spend and where they can't spend? That's counterintuitive.
That's a valid point. Honestly. You can't say free market if you're taking choice away from people.
Exactly.
Yeah. WKD Lama says this should not be allowed. They're picking winners and losers. The public have no choice. Yeah. Sherry Vanderpool says, Jamel, preach about healthcare in America, and it's hard to navigate along with having to go to whomever is in your network. And Sherry, honestly, you all know, honestly, that's the toughest between taxes and healthcare. Bermuda, I don't know if you all understand. Anyone who's lived in the U.S. and had healthcare and in Bermuda, I know Bermuda's healthcare system is not the best. But the fact that it's not as bad in the U.S. is a blessing. We cannot go down that road. We cannot go down that road. And say it again.
That's where it's headed. That's where this type of deal is headed. That's where BF&M and August Amalgamated was pushing it. That's where August acquiring this two doctor's offices is pushing it. That's where this deal is now pushing it. That's where we're headed. And the government has no laws on this. That's the other thing. I think someone put it here. How did the government allow August to purchase BF&M in the first place? Because there's no laws. There is it was in the PLP's platform this year to initiate a competition regulatory authority, but there's no laws governing healthcare and competition. The competition laws we have only apply to fuel and electronics and electronic services.
And by the way, Taj, has the Minister of Health made a statement about this yet?
No.
Okay. Because I've seen statements from Bermuda Diabetes Association. We've seen the joint statement from the pharmacies. We've seen Bermuda Health Council. We've seen Bermuda Medical Doctors. Like, we've seen so many statements about this.
The ministry, I think, said, the ministry spokesperson, but not the minister,
The
said
minister
that,
herself.
not the minister herself, but a ministry spokesperson said that a vague statement that ensuring that all Bermudians have access to the prescriptions they need is the highest priority for the ministry. So I don't know what that means, but
Folks, this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Mark Arthur says, I agree with you, Mr. Hartman. I believe that we should be able to choose which pharmacy we can use. We should not be forced to use one pharmacy. Sean Smith says, how did the government allow Argus purchase BF&M in the... Oh, you read that one, sorry.
Yeah.
We've got Suzanne Ingham says, no, we have a right to have options. Taj, you hit it 109% plus right. I think she meant 100. Monopoly is 100% correct. To me, that leads to a dictator. It's 100% wrong. Absolutely a big no to this foolishness. Sean Smith says, how does this help drive down the cost of healthcare? No, this should not be allowed. Here's the thing. Here's a suggestion. If they want to use that one pharmacy, right? Because the drugs are a certain price. But I'm a client of yours and I only want to use another pharmacy. And let's say the drug's $20 more, then pay me. Let me pay what I would pay at the other pharmacy, and I'll cover the other $10.
They are. I think that is part of their thing. Is
I didn't see that.
They have to have alternatives, but you'll be subject to what they say reduced coverage at other locations.
That's still the auto network thing, though.
Yes. So you'll be able to go to other pharmacies, but you won't get the same level of coverage.
That's the auto network. It's dangerous. I think that's temporary, Tosh. That will work. Temporary. But long term, I think it's dangerous, man. It's heading, again, anyone who's had health insurance in the US will see this as a big whammy. This is not where Bermuda wants to head. Dr. Anthony Richardson says the deal is also predatory. Forcing other pharmacists out of prescription business, resulting in market manipulation and increasing the cost of medication and health. Here's the thing. Here's what's dangerous, right? We know CG started their pharmacies, right? What's also dangerous is, you mentioned doctor's office, is if they then say, okay, to Phoenix years later, all right, thanks, we're now going to open our own pharmacies. And now they're on the other end. You feel me? So I think even they need to be careful.
Yes.
Partner today, eliminated tomorrow. You know, it's like, I don't know if you all remember the story about, what's it called? Toys R Us and Amazon.
Yeah.
When Amazon was going to be their partner, they were their partner. And then basically like just took them out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that will happen here. Oh, Tamara Donnell said that's incorrect, Taj. They will not be covering anything for these drugs if filled at other companies. Oh, okay.
Maybe I had it wrong.
Wow, that is bad.
That is bad.
So I feel like this conversation is too important to have for 20 minutes.
Yes.
It's too important to have for 20 minutes. And it's crazy because we have Aaron Crichlow coming on from Bermuda is Love, and his organization, literally everything they represent is against this kind of stuff. You know, it's against this level of anti-people, if I should say. He's not coming on for this, but I think I would love to hear his thoughts on this. I'm trying, folks, the reason I'm kind of stuttering this one is I'm trying to be very careful. I'm trying to be very careful because this is not something small. This is something that will probably have some legal ramifications going forward. And I just don't want to speak out of turn.
Yeah.
But based on my experience in the United States of America, I've been very vulnerable. I've been very transparent with you as an audience with, you know, how you can have like, you can be paying a lot in health insurance, like $500, $1,000 a month in health insurance. And when you go to the doctor, they're telling you, oh, well, it only covers $200 and you're left with $1,800. I just feel like this would be a step in that direction. And I think it's a dangerous space for a small community to be. I just don't like it. And I think, Taj, I hope that if nothing else, this could almost be your daily inspiration, right? But Mark Arthur said, that's an excellent point, Mr. Taj. Capitalism can't work without choice. And I understand capitalism. I work hard for a company that I co-own. And so I understand the benefits of capitalism. But this is capitalism at its worst, in my opinion.
Yes. And this is what they would use to, these are the very same companies, right, that would argue against universal health coverage on the same basis. Universal health care coverage does reduce choice because you'll only be able to go to public places to get free care. That's what companies use to say against universal health coverage. So my thinking on this is that CG, August, BF&M, All Shores, all of these insurance companies know that the government's intention is to move towards universal health coverage. Are they preparing themselves to be to fight the government on this?
Yes.
Making their business bigger, making them have more of a monopoly of the market, so the government has no choice now.
Yes.
But to work with this company as they pursue universal health coverage. And universal health coverage has been delayed, and it was in the budget, but it's been delayed. The budget says that it's going to go towards the 87 million that was allocated for healthcare will go towards strengthening and stabilizing the current system to make sure that when universal coverage is introduced, the system can carry the weight of it. So with universal health coverage being delayed and this now going on, what is the government's response to this? I wonder. And like, what's going to happen to the people in the interim? Like, how many people have to suffer, not be able to afford their medications, have to choose between medication and something else, while the government tries to push towards universal health coverage?
This breaks my heart, and it breaks my heart because just using my mom's situation, knowing the cost of her medication. During her cancer battle, and if you were to say this, then that medication can only be purchased here, and I know people have said that, well, they have delivery, but who's to say is it delivery free, and is delivery as convenient for someone that can actually go get it? It's not always convenient. I don't like this. I really don't. This is not personal. This is, and let me be very clear, because I probably should have said this at the beginning. Yes, People's Pharmacy is a partner of this show. They do sponsor the news. Whether People's Pharmacy was a partner or not has nothing to do with this. When I speak, I don't speak to protect our partners. I mean, the AC Group is our title sponsor. When they had layoffs 2 years ago, we spoke about it on the show. This is not what we do. We have great relationships with our partners where we can have open and honest conversations. This is about the broader community. This show exists because we want to discuss things of great concern and engage with all of you. These conversations, not just controversial stuff, but find solutions. And my hope is that if someone who is engaged in these conversations, works at these companies, who operates with a conscience, if we can move above the business side and into the human side, that's what I would ask. We've got a couple statements on Instagram I'll read. North Shore Pharmacy BDA says this is a perfectly legal deal, doesn't make it ethical. We don't have the anti-competition laws in Bermuda to protect small businesses, which I think you said, Charles Taj. They went on to say, thank you for discussing. Janelle Div says, this is very important. I noticed not many are listening to this conversation. Well, that's on Instagram, but you can listen on our website, the radio, Facebook, YouTube, other spaces. So thank you for rocking with us on Instagram. All right, folks, let's go through a few more. And then this is your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan and Secure. Again, 20 minutes is too short, but we've got a conversation with Aaron Crichlow from Bermuda's Love, and we'll continue this conversation. What I don't want to do, and Taj knows this, I don't want us to limit ourselves to speaking about things on one day anymore. I know sometimes we have a discussion today and then it's done. We can't operate like that going forward. These conversations are too important to just have bullet point conversations. And yes, that does mean more reading for us. That does mean reaching out to more people to get insight. But that's what you all deserve, because you take your time to engage with us. So it's up to us to respond to you with continuous engagement until we believe things are done in the best interest of the greater community. So thank you for rocking with us. I'll go through some of the comments real quickly. We've got Zena Ward says, for seniors, going to pharmacy is often a social event. They have relationships with the pharmacist. Yes, this was said in the latter one of the letters I read, and other workers there. Delivery services cannot replicate that. Dr. Patricia Chapman says, this should absolutely not be allowed. I'm surprised the Minister of Health has not released a statement in response. Very concerning. Karen Simmons says, in my opinion, the government is already at the mercy of all shores who claim they have 80% of the insurance market. Universal healthcare is no longer a viable option. We must stop being reactive. The government failed Bermudians on this. The Minister of Health failed Bermudians on this. This stops at her feet. And again, yes, she is not my favorite person. She's one of the only ministers I would walk across on the street and not acknowledge. But my opinion is not personal. My opinion is simply based on the buck stops with her. Folks, let's give some thanks to Titan Express and Secure. I promise you this is not the last we will have about this conversation.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
All righty, let's go to Teo Dill for your Daily Hour news break. After that, we'll take a break and bring in our guest for the day, Aaron Crichlow of Bermuda is Love.
Good morning, I'm Teo Dill, and welcome to your TDH News Break, brought to you by the great folks at Peoples. Sometimes wellness is found in the smallest moments. Smile, a thank you, a helping hand. That's what you get at Peoples Pharmacy. A driver lost control on Front Street, slamming into two parked cars before flipping and landing upside down near the front yard in Hamilton. Police say the vehicle was traveling along Front Street when the driver apparently lost control, struck the parked cars, and overturned onto its roof. Now, thankfully, there are no reported injuries. Notably, this marks the third crash of the past week involving a vehicle ending up on its roof, an unusual run of overturned collisions on the island. Now, when it comes to cars flipping during crashes, Bermuda appears to experience rollovers at a noticeably higher rate than larger countries, though total crash numbers here are far smaller. In the U.S., rollover crashes account for roughly 2 to 3% of all reported collisions, though they make up a much larger share of fatal crashes due to highway speeds. Now, in the U.K., rollovers are even less common, typically representing only a small single-digit percentage of total collisions. Canada follows a similar pattern to the U.S., with rollovers forming a small minority of overall crashes, usually tied to high-speed rural highways. Bermuda is different. While comprehensive published rollover breakdowns aren't routinely released, local police reporting and media coverage suggests that overturned vehicles appear more frequently relative to total crash volume, likely due to narrow roads, sharp bends, close walls, and the heavy use of lighter vehicles and motorcycles. You get it. So while absolute numbers remain small, the proportion of crashes involving a flipped vehicle in Bermuda appears to be higher than in the US, UK, or Canada, driven more by road design and environment than just speed or driving without due care and attention. Now, Bermuda is making international headlines as per usual, this time from leading science outlet ZMEScience.com, which is spotlighting the island's uniquely fragile but successful water system. The publication highlights the fact that Bermuda's got no rivers or lakes, meaning every drop of fresh water depends on rainfall collected from rooftops or produced through desalination. Roughly 60% of the island's potable water still comes from rainwater harvesting, a 400-year-old system that remains central to daily life here in Bermuda. The article also underscores growing pressure from climate change, rising sea levels, and increased demand from development and tourism. And a transatlantic TUI fly flight from Amsterdam to Montego Bay made an unexpected emergency landing in Bermuda this week, putting our island squarely in the middle of a long-haul tourism disruption. The Boeing 787 diverted to LF Wade International after crews identified an onboard issue requiring immediate attention. Bermuda's emergency and airport teams responded quickly, underscoring our strategic role as a North Atlantic diversion hub for Europe to Caribbean routes. The incident highlights Bermuda's quiet but critical role in regional aviation safety, even as diversions place short-term pressure on infrastructure during busy travel periods. And today's weather indicates that high pressure remains firmly in control of what's happening here. We are waking up to a bright, settled stretch of weather as that Atlantic ridge builds to our south. Moderate southwesterly winds are keeping things mild and spring-like with plenty of sunshine throughout today. Expect highs near 69 degrees with a comfortable low around 65 tonight. Winds should stay moderate out of the southwest before easing and switching over to the south later on. Looking ahead, the warm, settled pattern holds through today, but we should see some cloud and moisture start. Winds stay moderate out of the southwest before easing and backing southerly the further we get on into the evening. And that's your TDH News Break brought to you by our friends at Peoples. I'm Teo Dill. Now back to the show.
Thanks so much for that, Tay. Taj, do you have any days of the year for us?
Yes. Today is Tell a Fairy Tale Day, which seems ironic now, but so I guess my question for the audience is, what's your favorite childhood fairy tale? And if you had to choose one to live in, which one would you live in?
See, I don't know. I never was into fairy tales. I honestly, I don't even like movies that I can't relate to. Like, I've never been a Star Wars guy, or I don't know. Well, what's like Beauty and the Beast? I ain't never even seen that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fairy tale guy.
Three Little Pigs, Hansel and Gretel, Red Riding Hood.
What's the one with the three bears?
Oh, what is it? Snow White? No. Sleeping? No. What is it? Somebody and the Three Bears.
Little Red Riding Hood and the Three Bears?
No. Little Red Riding Hood is the wolf.
Oh, okay. See, I can't keep up, man. Yeah, I can't keep up. Audience, let us know. Give us a fairy tale. We got Stacey Ann Brown says Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. Okay, I know the song. Like was it Peebo and Celine Dion have a song called Beauty and the Beast or something? Mm-hmm. I know that. That. All right, folks. Let's take a quick break. We're gonna come back. We've got Aaron Crichlow joining us. We got Goldilocks. Was the story?
Goldilocks. Yes.
Goldilocks says Trevor and Trotty. Goldilocks is 10 achievement. Thank you all. Okay, they rock with us. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Do not go anywhere. Bermuda is love. Aaron Crichlow coming up. What a perfect day for Aaron to show up and hopefully shares his perspective on this ongoing situation with Old Shore. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Take a look at our workbook for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast, so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
What lasts isn't what you buy, but what it becomes. With the HSBC MasterCard credit card, every spend quietly adds to a story shaped by intention and offers what matters most. Support that meets you where you are. Protection that preserves what you choose. Confidence for the unexpected. Peace of mind wherever your story leads. Start your next chapter. Use your card today. HSBC is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
What if the age that really matters isn't the one on your ID? You probably know your chronological age, the number of candles on your last birthday cake. But there's another kind of age that may be even more important, your biological age. This reflects how old your body truly is at the cellular level. It is influenced by your genes, your environment, and the choices you make every day. Two people can both be 40 years old on paper, but one may have the body of a healthy 30-year-old while the other is biologically closer to 50. The difference? Lifestyle choices on nutrition, sleep, stress, exercise, and exposure to toxins. That means you have some control over your biological clock, and that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Because when it comes to aging, it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. Want to know your predicted biological age today? Download the free Carry Genetics app and fill in the lifestyle questionnaire.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. Taj Donville Autobridge, I'm Jamel Hartman. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio areas with these most important community conversations. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to improve our community. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to a very special guest of the day. Aaron Crichlow from Bermuda is Love. Hey, Aaron. What's up?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
We're good, man. I think we're good.
What happened to the clapping? The clapping. Normally, when I came in before.
You didn't hear it? Okay,
No, I
I think
didn't
you're
hear
on the wrong channel again. Hold on. Let's try something. Can you hear it now? Oh, can you hear it now?
There you go.
Can you hear it?
Yes, I heard it.
I had the wrong channel one. Thank you for letting me know, because the audience, they tell me after the show. Aaron, you know, you don't mind talking about stuff like this, and this is not what you're here to discuss, but if you have a perspective on what we discussed this morning, the Old Shores situation, please, we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, firstly, thank you for having me on the show. It's nice to hear both of you guys' perspectives, Jim and Mao and Taj. And yeah, I would agree with both of you. For Bermuda's Love, healthcare is a human right. You know, it's an economic right that we all have access to. And so for us, we don't believe that healthcare should be provided for profit, you know. Love should be the grounding, I guess, ideology for how we treat people, as well as for how systems, economic systems, cultural systems, social systems, the things that we need as basic, I guess, needs should be governed, right? And so that means that healthcare should be provided to those in the community. They should have democratic control of those institutions. So I see it as a threat to, you know, to profit, to access to healthcare, and to actually being able to control the type of healthcare that you actually receive. So for me, yeah, it's antithetical, it's against everything that Bermuda's Love, you know, stands for. And I think I would agree with Taj. I think that point in these insurance companies, August and BF&M, combined together. They bought the doctors' offices, they're buying pharmacies. So I think it's all about having more monopolization and control over the healthcare system so that they can be more entrenched within the systems, so that they are they have more control or power when government's trying to implement their national health coverage.
You know, I think I was in a conversation earlier this week with someone, and they were saying that most private companies are not beholden to their customers, clients, or community. They're beholden to the board. Um, Obviously, that's capitalism at its worst or best, depending on how you look at it. Unfortunately, and I hate to put this all on the government, but it just goes back to this will continue until there's regulation put in place. Bermuda's Love does an excellent job of creating awareness in the community through action, not just appearing on shows like this or social media, but actual like work in the community to engage people in ways where you're meeting them where they are. But for those who don't know, just tell them a bit about your background and the beginnings of Bermuda is Love and its purpose.
Yeah, sure. I never know where to start with this. I'm sorry. I guess from my family perspective, Bermuda's Love Bermuda's Love started in 2020, wanting to address social economic inequality, to address cost of living challenges, lack of access to healthcare, housing, education, food. We saw this great inequality, this great economic divide between the populations. And so because of that, we tried to create a community, build community, raise awareness about the things that we felt were, bad, and then try to meet people's basic needs. So it was very much grounded on the framework of the Black Panther Party. So they were all about providing survival programs, the school breakfast, free school breakfast programs, free legal clinic programs, etc. It was all about trying to ensure that the Black population, the communities in the 60s and 70s in Black America were having their basic needs met with the basis that they would also be providing education around why, these economic systems were oppressing Black people in particular. And so we are trying to do the same thing with Bermuda's Love with the various programs that we do. From our own school breakfast program at Elliott to the community gardens that we have to the free legal advice clinics and the law firm that we run. I'm trying to meet people's basic needs directly so that we can think about how we can change the systems entirely. Because fundamentally, we don't believe that, a person's ability to survive and live in Bermuda should be defined by the amount of money that they have in their pocket, right? Every person shouldn't, like the cost of living just shouldn't is a wrong way to think about life. For our perspective, there shouldn't be any cost to life. There shouldn't be cost to surviving. And when we're all concerned so much in Bermuda about the cost of living, it doesn't give us the opportunity to really talk about what really it means to thrive and flourish. And so for us, as Bermuda's Love, is trying to create that basic foundation of what every person deserves, and then from there we can build on to create a world where we can all do what we really want to do.
Indeed. And audience, if you have any questions or comments for Aaron, please send them through. Let's talk about February's campaign, Love is Power. You said love is more than a feeling, it's action. What does that look like in real terms for Bermuda is Love?
Exactly, yeah. For Bermuda's Love, when we talk about love, love, as I say, is not a feeling, not an emotion, it's an action, it's a duty that we have to one another. So our vision is trying to create a Bermuda where we all recognize and act on our duty to love one another. And this duty to love is embodied in selflessness and care for other people, care for ourselves, for the environment that we live in. It's about seeing and acting daily, doing daily actions to ensure that the population's basic needs are being met. So that's kind of how we put into our mission the idea that love should guide and ensure that every person's basic needs are being met. And so for us, we focus on 7, I guess, basic needs from food, housing, clothing, healthcare, education, justice, and environment. So all the different events that we organize are all about trying to show love in action. And so it's about trying to change hearts and minds, but it's also about trying to change the systems that govern, human life, right? So it's about trying to change or recognize that power, or this campaign is all about trying to show that power is a neutral term. That lots of people see power as bad, as this thing that more power corrupts, the more power you have, the more corrupted you become. But for us at Bermuda's Love, we say that love or power is just a tool. And so we say that we have to use, or love uses power to collectively ensure that people's basic needs are being met. Love ensures that we are caring for other people. We're using love power, love collective power to ensure that people's basic needs are being met directly within the community. So that's really what we talk about when we say what is love, how we use power.
All right. Yeah, collective power is where it's at. So for people who have not kept up with Bermuda's Love recently or may not know, what are your main projects you're focused on right now? Like, give us some specifics on them.
Yeah, sure. So for each of the different pillars that we focus on, we have different like events and programs. So each month we have a different like schedule or campaign of different events. This month, as we mentioned, is Love is Power. Next month, a couple months, we'll be focusing on food and healthcare combined. Because for us in Bermuda's Love, we see this healthcare issue is very much present in every single aspect of basic needs, infrastructure in Bermuda when you're talking about food, the monopolization of grocery stores in Bermuda, lack of access to healthy food. And we talk about the healthcare, the housing system, where we have this great inequality of access to housing for tenants in particular. And so for us, it's trying to name these issues and provide opportunities for people to address this. So for example, if in the food space, we have the Elliott Primary Breakfast Program. We provide breakfast to all the students at Elliott from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. We're hoping to expand to other schools as time goes on. So it's all about trying to meet the basic needs of children, access to healthy, nutritious food in the morning. Trying to also build collective or community within the Elliott Primary School, wider Devonshire Parish community. When it comes to housing, we have a tenants union, essentially, where we provide opportunities for tenants to come together, learn about laws, the housing law in Bermuda, landlord tenant law, and then collectively organize against higher rents, against landlords failing to do repairs, failing to maintain the property, and how we can really work together as a collective to get more power as tenants. When it comes to clothing, we do our clothing giveaways, clothing drives, we receive clothing and then provide it to the population. Education, we have a scholarship program we do, as well as after school clubs, where we go to different primary schools to talk about what love is, how we recognize love, how we say what love is, empathy, kindness, and also how the students can actually make changes within their neighborhood, within their school. When it comes to justice, we do free legal clinics every month, as well as we have our own law firm called Bermuda's Love Legal Services, where we provide advice and representation on landlord-tenant matters, as well as family access, custody disputes. And then the environment, last one, we do community gardens every month, and we also have leased a farm where we're trying to provide and grow vegetables to the community in general. So there are lots of, and then for healthcare, last one, we do monthly blood drives, as well as regular community health clinics to bring the community together to provide access so that we know exactly what healthcare services are available, as well as ensuring that we can talk about what the issues are within the healthcare space. So that's all the different things I guess we're focused on. If there's anything that a person would like to join or get involved in, you just hit me up or hit Bermuda's Love, just type us in Google and just any contact there, you can just hit us up and we'll reach back out to you.
Love it.
All right. I want to bring in this question from the audience because it ties to a follow-up I was going to ask. So Charles Jeffers III says, recently the PLP had you speak at their conference. Do you think the government is genuinely hearing the concerns of Bermuda's Love? And do you believe their engagement is more performative? So my question was about your breakfast program. To me, that's a no-brainer. All young people should be able to go to school without having to worry about not eating. And to me, this is something that the government should provide. So what is the government support like on that program, and do they have any interest in supporting you and expanding it? Yeah.
Yeah, to answer Taj's question first, no, unfortunately not. We've been we're hoping to work collaboratively with government in this program, and yes, we think they have a real big, important role to play in ensuring that every person has breakfast, every child has breakfast at school. So we've done various campaigns in the past where we try to advocate for national universal breakfast programs in all the public schools at least. And we're hoping that, in time we'll get greater support from the government. In terms of Charles's question, yeah, I think, yeah, absolutely, the PLP government needs to be doing more for the people. The government, for Bermuda's Love, we say that the government should be providing national services for all the different basic needs. And so for us, when we talk about healthcare, there's been no, progress on universal health coverage or healthcare really. And what they've put in the budget, it's like, okay, there's no real progress being made in my opinion. When it comes to housing, again, for us, the whole relationship between the landlord and tenant is exploitative. And so the bill that's being presented, as well as the work within the Ministry of Housing, is vastly insufficient. When you talk about education, I think for Bermuda's Love, it's about democratizing education and providing access to all persons to have the ability to control what they're learning, what the students are learning, what the children are learning. And so, yeah, I would say there's a lot, more that needs to be done. Absolutely. Are they hearing what Bermuda's Love is saying? I would have to ask them directly. I'm not sure. I think it is interesting to hear from different politicians. Some politicians are I think, would like Bermuda's Love. We've had really good relationships with all the ministers. Like, we don't have any bad relationships with anybody. Even on the OBA side, we've done presentations to OBA. They've reached out. It's been really positive. So again, with Bermuda's Love, it's all about trying to build community, and hold people accountable as well. I don't think there should be any animosity being with anything that I've said. It's all about trying to recognize that we all have a responsibility for making the Bermuda a better place where people can really survive and thrive, And so if that's not occurring, if people are struggling to live as they are today, then things need to change. And we can't just be accepting the status quo as it is now, right?
Yeah, indeed.
And to me, that goes to the budget surplus. The government has budget surplus. Some of it should be going towards such programs. And I know the government listens, ministers listen to this show, so I hope they heed your call to action. My next question, I want to shift gears a bit. I want to talk about the importance. It's not a question we have written, but in the importance of this work being led by young people, and why you put so much effort and campaigning into getting young people specifically involved in doing this work. Talk a little bit about that.
Young people. I think the organization does come across as being led by young people. I mean, I'm 30 now, so I started Bermuda's Love when I was 24. So it's
You're a
been a
young
lot of
person.
change. A lot of change has been going on in the space. I would say one of the biggest takeaways I would say is when I was growing up, or even when I started Bermuda's Loves, there was, Ryan, Parent Chief for Future Leaders. We had Dwayne Robinson with the OBA, yourself, Taj, who were like leaders in this space. I think recently there are much more young people really getting involved, wanting to make change to, social change in Bermuda. And I think that is only better. For us, for me, I guess why I focus on young people is because that's who I know. Is as well as I think we have to create a foundation of what we really want to do, or what we want the future to be, what we want the present to be. And that takes us to all recognize that we have a responsibility to act. And so for me, I don't like thinking of the action being led solely by young people, because I when it comes to like issues of climate change or things like that, young people always get asked to, you're the future, you're the leaders of tomorrow, and I just feel like it's insufficient to actually deal with the actual problem. Like every new person needs to be acting to address climate change. Every person needs to see themselves as being committed to making a better future. It can't just be led by young people, and it often like pushes the problem down to a next generation. And when I get old, I'm going to saying the same thing. As the next generations coming up is going to be responsible for making change. But what I do think, I guess to your point, is that young people need, and Bermuda in particular, often have been, sidelined and pushed to the side. And maybe that's one of some of the reasons why young people don't feel comfortable to take up these positions of advocating for change, because they often aren't heard, right? And so I think in these spaces, what we need to do more is provide opportunities for young people to actually voice their concerns of what's going on with their lives. How do they feel about life? I remember I participated in a family center event where they had various young people speaking their minds and talking about the problems of cost of living and change. And I was taken aback by how, I guess, the broad sphere of like how, I guess, adults or like the normal culture of Bermuda, we talk about these things, how it affects young people. And they have the same concerns that we have, and they're growing up concerned about climate change, the cost of living, to housing, to healthcare. And I think when we say that it's their responsibility to make change, it kind of depowers them in a sense. So I think
I completely understand you. No, I completely understand you. I think you don't want to box it, is what you're saying, in that. But I do take Taj's point. It is encouraging that in a time when more young people are becoming uninterested in such processes, you guys have done an excellent job of ensuring that there are still young people out here doing this stuff. So credit to you. But looking ahead, I know we've got to let you go. Can't keep you all day because this conversation, again, this is why we have them often, can go on. But looking ahead, what's next for Bermuda's Love, and how can people get involved if they want to volunteer, maybe join a working group, or just simply support the work that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Bermuda's Love, we need people to be involved, as Taj pointed out, it's all about collective action. We need people to, recognize that they have a responsibility, they have a duty to love. And what that means for us in Bermuda's Love is to have a responsibility to make change, create the world that they really want to see. Young, old, or new, whatever it is, you have a responsibility. So for us, we have these many, for each of the pillars that we focus on, the rights that we focus on, we have a working groups for each of them, for food, for housing, clothing, education, justice, environment, healthcare. And so if there's anything that, and we try to focus on raising awareness, building community, providing a place to talk, as well as directly action in terms of meeting people's basic needs directly, as well as talking about systemic change and how we can advocate for changes in laws and policies. So there's a lots of opportunities for people to get involved, and I would encourage any person who's interested in what we do to just message us, show up to an event. You don't really need to sign up. All of our events are scheduled on our website, just bermudaslove.com. We have all of our information about what we do, what we believe on our website. Just click all the different opportunities to really get involved. And then looking forward in the future, it's really about just continued social change. It's really trying to build a movement of love where we have more people that recognize in this idea of what love really is and how it needs to be embedded within our healthcare system, health, education system, housing system, food system. Like these systems need to be guided and grounded in love. Within the political system, like this requires us to recognize what love really means, and it's love as action. A love, not a system not grounded by profit, but by love, by humanity.
Yeah, I completely agree. Thank you for the work that you and everyone involved in Bermuda's Love continue to do. And please keep us abreast, which you do a great job of. We get your emails of what's going on in the community. Even if we are unable to be present, we can encourage our community, TDH community, to do their part as well. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you to all of you, and we look forward to the next conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Taj. Thank you, Jamel. Have a great day.
Aaron Crichlow, folks. Awesome guy, awesome organization. We're going to take our final break. We'll be back after this. But if you appreciated that discussion with Aaron and the morning discussion, and you're streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, or Instagram, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda business starts here.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazok Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Every space has a message, whether it's a store, a government office, or a doctor's waiting room. With Store Tunes Radio, transform your environment with customized music and professional messaging that keeps people informed, engaged, and at ease. Easy to use, built for organizations of every kind. Powered by Bermuda Communications Group. Store Tunes Radio, the soundtrack to better customer experiences. Visit StoreTunesRadio.com to learn more.
The Office of Consumer Affairs protects residents by promoting fairness, safety, and transparency in the marketplace across the island. We investigate complaints, manage recalls, educate the public, and enforce consumer protection laws to ensure fair treatment for all. Our team supports consumers by resolving disputes, providing guidance, and helping residents understand their rights and responsibilities. We work with businesses to encourage compliance, ethical practices, and trust, helping create a stable and competitive economy. Through education, enforcement, and outreach, Consumer Affairs helps keep Bermuda's marketplace safe, informed, and accountable.
All righty, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to Aaron Crichlow and Bermuda's Love. Folks, again, if you appreciate that discussion, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. The more people we engage with, beat the algorithms, and the more people we have with the information and ability to help improve our community. All right, folks, thanks again to the BAC group of companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical, Linda's People's Pharmacy, for ensuring we can do this with you on a regular basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok, and come to Bacardi's Black Vendors Market tomorrow to see what's new with Bermuda Trivia. All right, Taj, it is a name that place. Are you ready?
Go for it.
All right, audience, here we go. Let's do it. What is the smallest African nation by population?
It's got to be one of the island ones. It's got to be Seychelles or Madagascar.
You got it. No, no, no. I'm gonna go. You said it first, so I'm gonna give it to you. Seychelles. Yes, it has to be one of the islands. Duh, of course. Seychelles. You beat out Stacey Ann Brown. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, it's Seychelles. Seychelles, smallest by population. They have a population of approximately 100 to 133,000 residents. Seychelles is a place I've always wanted to visit, but I went to Mauritius instead. But beautiful, beautiful place. Some people don't consider it Africa as an island, but it is part of the continent of Africa.
Yeah.
All right, Taj, we got to wrap it up. Got to run. But final thoughts on today's discussion, then conversation with Aaron Crichlow.
Well, my final thoughts on the conversation is I just want to say one thing, which is I'm pro universal healthcare, and I would encourage people to think of it as reparations, because that's what it is. And there's a lot of research that shows in the US that the reason a lot of people are anti-universal healthcare is simply because they don't want Black Americans and Indigenous Americans to have access to healthcare. So when you think about universal healthcare as reparations, because healthcare is essential to surviving and living, then you, I think, can gain more appreciation for why it's important. And in regards to Aaron, I think Bermuda's Love is work is crucial. And I just hope that the government follows the lead that Bermuda's Love has led on several initiatives, especially that school lunch, because I mean, that school breakfast, because young people should not go to school and have to learn hungry.
Yeah, indeed. As far as the discussion, all I'm gonna keep saying is I'm a former Bernie guy, and if you don't know what that means, I don't know what to tell you. You all know how I feel. I'm not gonna repeat it just so I don't bore you, but I'll say this much: I am a firm believer that we have to do things with the human element at our core and our forefront. This wasn't planned, but to have this conversation on the day when Bermuda's Love is in the house, to remind us of the human element, is so important to our existence. I know people go on about money and profit and so on. Honestly, most people are just trying to make money to survive. Not many people are enjoying living these days. Taj's comment earlier really summed up the entire state of this situation. You can't be pro-capitalism and take people's choice away from them. It's counterproductive. It makes no sense as far as capitalism goes. Controlling something is not how capitalism works. Taj, you have some daily inspiration for the people?
I do. It's a poem, so bear with me. This is the 21st century, and we need to redefine revolution. This planet needs a people's revolution, a humanist revolution. Revolution is not about bloodshed or about going to the mountains and fighting. We fight if we are forced to, but the fundamental goal of revolution must be peace. We need a revolution of the mind. We need a revolution of the heart. We need a revolution of the spirit. The power of the people is stronger than any weapon. A people's revolution can't be stopped. We need to be weapons of mass construction, weapons of mass love. It's not enough just to change the system. We need to change ourselves. We have got to make this world user-friendly. Are you ready to sacrifice to end world hunger, to sacrifice to end colonialism, to sacrifice to end neocolonialism, to end racism, to end sexism? Revolution means the end of exploitation. Revolution means respecting people from other cultures. Revolution is creative. Revolution means treating your mate as a friend and as an equal. Revolution is sexy. Revolution means respecting and learning from your children. Revolution is beautiful. Revolution means protecting the people, the plants, the animals, the air, the water. Revolution means saving the planet. Revolution is love. And that's a poem by the late, great Assata Shakur.
There we go. Thank you for that. I think that sums up where we are perfectly. We can't be, excuse my language, half-assed in fighting back.
Yeah.
Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Metacross, Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio areas with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. Taj Dunville Otterbridge, I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are Is Out. Peace.